Attention passionate Baltimore Ravens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Baltimore Ravens' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Baltimore Ravens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show THAT you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Baltimore, RAVENS fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you could be one of the most game-changing rumors we've seen this season. There's chatter around the league, whispers that the New Orleans Saints, currently sitting at a disappointing 3-6 record and struggling with a defense that's allowed a league-worst 43 sacks, might be looking to shake things up before the trade deadline. And the name that's been floating around as a potential piece in a blockbuster deal. None other than Chris Olave, the young, dynamic receiver who's been making waves in his second NFL season. This isn't just idle speculation. Insiders like Adam Schefter and Diana Rossini have hinted that the Saints are eyeing a rebuild, and trading Olave could be a move to free up cap space and acquire draft picks for a major overhaul. Now, for all you Ravens fans out there, I know what you're thinking. Imagine what Olave could do for Lamar Jackson and this offense. The guy is a pure playmaker, and at just 25 years old, he's already proven to be a pro bowler with a skill set that screams explosive. His route running is sharp, and his top-end speed makes him a nightmare for defenses. Up until November, Olave has already racked up 58 receptions for 785 yards, averaging 5 yards per catch with 6 touchdowns. His PFF grade this year is an impressive 86, putting him among the top 8 wide receivers in the league. That's elite production, especially considering he's still in the early stages of his career. Plus, his efficiency metrics are off the charts. EPA per target at 0. 34 yards after catch, averaging 5.3 yards, catch rate over 67%, and he's been a consistent deep threat with 14 explosive plays, ranking him in the top 5. His route win rate is also solid at over 27%, showing he's not just a speed guy, he's a route technician. But why would the Saints consider trading Olave? Well, their current situation is far from ideal. With a 3-6 record, they're in a rebuild mode, trying to patch together a squad that's been hampered by a weak defense, allowing 43 sacks, the worst in the league, and a cap situation tight as ever. They only have around $3.9 million in cap space, which isn't enough to extend key players like Alvin Kamara, who's set to hit free agency after 2027, or to bring in the help they desperately need on the offensive line. So the idea is that they could package Olave, whose contract expires in 2027, and target draft picks, specifically a second-rounder in 2026 and a third in 2027, to not only rebuild their roster but also free up cap space to invest in the OL and other areas. It's a strategic move that echoes what the Texans did last year with Michael Thomas, boosting their offense significantly in the playoffs and giving them a real shot at competing. Now, if this trade were to happen, the impact on the Ravens would be huge. Just think about it. Adding Olave to Lamar Jackson's arsenal would be a game-changer. Olave stretches the field and creates mismatches all over the place. He'd open up so many opportunities for Lamar, especially on third downs where his route running and speed could turn short passes into big gains. With Jackson's ability to scramble and extend plays, having a receiver like Olave would make their offense even more dangerous. The Ravens already boast a strong run game led by Gus Edwards and a solid offensive line, but adding a talent like Olave would elevate everything. His presence could boost the team's EPA per pass from a modest plus 0.21 to a projected plus 0.34, making the passing game more efficient and lethal. And don't forget, this move would also have a ripple effect on the run game. Henry, for example, with his 5.1 yards per carry, could benefit from defenses having to respect the deep threat Olave presents. Looking at the bigger picture, this kind of upgrade could be the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit. With Olave on board, the Ravens' odds of winning the Super Bowl would skyrocket. Currently, their odds sit around plus 400, but with Olave in the fold, those could drop to around plus 220, reflecting a major boost in championship expectations. Think about the potential in cold December games. Extra yards, more points, more pressure on opposing secondaries. Olave's ability to produce an additional 170 yards in the air on average per game in those scenarios could be the key to overcoming teams like the Chiefs, who are still favorites in the AFC but could be vulnerable if the Ravens upgrade their offensive weapons. This is the kind of move that could turn the tide, not just for this season, but for the next several years, paving the way for a potential Ravens dynasty. Now, let's talk about the Saints' perspective. They're in a tough spot, trying to rebuild with a defense that's giving up way too many points and not enough cap room to keep their key guys. Trading Olive, especially with his contract expiring in 2027, makes sense in their eyes. They want to acquire draft capital and focus on rebuilding the trenches, especially the offensive line and pass rush. They're reportedly looking at draft picks to help replenish their roster, similar to what the Falcons did in 2023. It's a classic rebuild move, and Olive, despite his talent, might be seen as a piece they can part with to accelerate their rebuild process. For the Ravens, this isn't just about adding another receiver, it's about making a statement. It's about showing that they're not just contenders, they're serious about dominating the AFC for years to come. Olive's skills align perfectly with Lamar Jackson's style, dynamic, explosive, and capable of changing the course of a game in a flash. His ability to win routes and turn them into big plays would give Baltimore a new dimension, especially in high-pressure situations. The Ravens are already a well-coached, disciplined team, but adding a weapon like Olive could elevate them from good to great, from playoff contenders to Super Bowl favorites. Of course, there are questions. Will the Saints be willing to part with such a promising young talent? How will Olive adapt to the Ravens' scheme? But the potential rewards far outweigh the risks. This kind of bold move is exactly what a team like the Ravens needs to push over the top, especially in a competitive AFC where every advantage counts. And let's be honest, the NFL is all about the big trades, the blockbuster deals that shake up the landscape. Remember when the Ravens traded for Anquan Boldin in 2012 or acquired Jacoby Jones in 2013? Those moves set the stage for Super Bowl runs. This could be that kind of move, a turning point. Now I know some of you might be thinking, is this just wishful thinking? Well, it's hard to ignore the whispers and the signs. The league is always buzzing with rumors, and when sources close to the NFL are hinting at these kinds of talks, you better believe there's some truth behind it. Plus, the timing makes sense. Both teams have clear needs and clear motivations. The Saints want to rebuild and cut costs, while the Ravens want to bolster their offense and make a real push for the Lombardi. It's a perfect storm of strategic moves that could reshape the AFC playoff picture. And finally, let's not forget the history of big trades in the NFL. Whether it was the Rams acquiring Matthew Stafford or the Seahawks trading for Jamal Adams, these deals often come with immediate results. If the Ravens pull the trigger on Olive, we could see a team that's already formidable becoming a true force to reckon with in the postseason. It's about seizing the moment, making bold decisions, and putting your team in the best position to win now and in the future. The Ravens have always been about smart, aggressive moves, and this could be the next chapter in their quest for another Super Bowl. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Baltimore Ravens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So Ravens fans, what do you think? Is this the move that could take Baltimore to the next level? Would you be excited to see Olive in purple and black? The potential is huge, and it's exactly the kind of bold step that could define a new era of success. We've seen how the right piece can propel a team to greatness. Think of how a certain young quarterback transformed the Ravens back in 2018 and led them to a Super Bowl victory. Olive could be that kind of difference maker for Lamar in this offense. The offseason is still a few months away, but if these rumors are true and the signs point to yes, it could be one of the most exciting periods in Ravens history. The front office has shown they're not afraid to make big moves, and adding a talent like Olive would send a message to the rest of the league. Baltimore is here to stay, and they're not just playing for now, they're building a dynasty. So keep your eyes peeled, Ravens Nation. Big things are brewing, and this could be the start of something unforgettable. And now, Baltimore Ravens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Baltimore Ravens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Baltimore Ravens news.